Welcome everyone. Round 8 of Challenger League brings us to Niagara Falls for the United States Grand Prix. Our Drivers and Constructors Championships are almost all but sewn up, but we still have quite a bit to race for. And of course, these drivers in Challenger League will be hoping to impress those in the upper tier course. So we're gonna have to see who can weather the chaos of this circuit the best out of all of our drivers today. It is sprint qualifying, so we've only got the single lap to prove our worth on a wet, damp track here. We're following Priya as he crosses the line. He's going to end up P5. It's going to be Kraft and Enigma on the front row. Just barely. No, UR actually takes that P2 from Kata. He's going to be starting on P3. Oh dear. Okay, Kraft and UR. Kraft convincing 2 tenths ahead of the next fastest car. UR just pipping Kata and Enigma to P2. The VEOs will start 3 and 4 then. Roski with a good quality in P5, and it's going to be Kato alongside him. Gwetsley in P7 with Priya next to him in 8th. Actually, they both tied, so the 7th, 8th is going to be switched around maybe. We'll see how that goes. Vlad and Figueroa finish in the top 10, just under 6 tenths behind the lead time. A pretty good top 10, all things considered, in terms of lap time. Quite impressed by that. We've got Matimar and Urist also quite close to each other in 11th and 12th. Then it's Wad and Redacted on the 7th row, sorry. Then Pumpkin, Kissia, Crunk and Hank rounding us off. Overall, not too slow, all things considered. It's not the longest track of all time, but there is a lot you can get wrong here. So everyone within the 2 seconds in the wet is pretty competitive. What do you think about that, Kubo?
Yeah, it's a track where they can really keep close together for a long time, but also you gotta attack the inside curbs every single time, and that might lead to some unforced errors here and there from less experienced drivers, and slowly we should see that pack separate from each other. It will be a very interesting close race, I'd say.
Yeah, and again, while Kraft has all but secured the Drivers' Championship, he would with a solid result here. He's 90 points ahead of Kata and just needs to gain, I believe, about 11 points for this weekend. So a race win here with Kata not finishing would be enough to absolutely secure it. We've still got a lot of the drivers here still fighting for their first points peg first points result of the season. So we'll have to see if one of them can sneak from the back half of the grid into the front here. We're going straight on to our sprint race. We've got a delayed start from Kata. He's completely stalled on the start as Kata gets an immediate penalty as we're diving into turn 2 now. Priya goes really wide. Rusky loses a ton of positions and it's chaos already. But it's from the start. We've got Kraft and Enigma getting away quite well. Rusky finding more trouble in the back half now. It's Enigma followed by Yua, who is now in a P3. Gwetsley, Vlad, more trouble entering the final sector there. It's Fuan and Figueroa finding some trouble. Matimar falling down as well. Kata in P6 there. And there's still more trouble to be had around the back of this grid. Moment. These 6 cars really fighting it out at the back here, but we're going to go back. It's Kraft and Enigma holding the line in the front. Enigma trying to make an attack around the outside. It's not going to quite work. He's still holding onto the slipstream though. Vlad makes a mistake though. He's going to get caught up by Kato. In that, Enigma makes a tight line onto that last corner. He's actually going to pip Kraft into turn 2, and Kraft is going to get a penalty for forcing Enigma wide. He's going to lose P1 from that. Yua is right on his tail as well. Gwetsley also in this fight here. It's 4 cars fighting for P1. Gwetsley makes a nice move into turn 6 to get past Yua and into P3. It's still Kraft and Enigma fighting it side by side, the 2 in the last sector, and it's going to leave the door open for Gwetsley, who tries to make a move there and falls back into 4th, hitting the wall. Wow, crazy start there. We've still got a few drivers. Oh, Kraft has made another mistake there. Gives him the inside. Enigma forcing him wide. It's going to be P4 now for our championship leader. You are into P2. No, it's going to be Wetzley making that move past him on the outside. Oh, there's just so much action here, Kubo.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Like I said, gotta attack that inside every time, and it's a very risky track. Look how Enigma has run away now. 1.5 seconds. He's gotta keep that. Gotta keep composure to profit from that lead.
Yeah, and it's Yua in P2. Kraft tries to make a move down the inside, gives just enough room to Yua as they go side by side into 8. And they're still side by side through 10 and 11? Oh my goodness. Yua, though, it looks like has gotten away. No, he's made a mistake on the last corner. Kraft into P2. And Wetzley is trying to follow him through in P3. No, he makes a slip. Oh, they've all hit the grass there, and it's giving even more time to Enigma, who is still in the lead by about 1.5 seconds. But it's also letting some of the cars behind them get into the fray. Vlad now into P4, past Yua, and Kato is inching closer to this leading pack as well. Further back, it's Matima in P7, Pumpkin holding on to P8 against Figuera. Then further back, we've got Redacted in a 5-way fight for P10 now. Or P10, with Kisser leading the way, Urist, Rusky, Wad, Kata in that scrap. Rusky finding all sorts of problems falling back here. Then it's Priya, Hank, and Krunk rounding us off. We're going to go back to the leaders. Enigma is still in the lead, but he's getting chased up, and those tyres are really starting to wear out now. It's a little crap train right behind him. Vlad is now into the podium position as well, as we have Wetzley holding the fastest lap of the race. Oh, that's a big mistake.
Yeah, speaking of Wetzley, this was his debut back in Season 9, and so he's chosen to premiere a red livery for Rickard Auto to commemorate this occasion, and it's also going to be on display for the next race in Vancouver as well.
Always nice to see some continuity, and Gwetzel will be hoping for some good result here. He's still in that fight for the podium. Vlad is holding up Kraft now, and Enigma, he's slowing up, but he's still able to just hold on to P1 for the time being. He's not, Vlad is not in his slip, but it might change. Kraft tries to make a dive down the inside. It's still so tight between them. Wetzley finds an opportunity to get through 2 cars in 2 corners. He's into P2, but it's still side by side with Vlad, and he's going to give him no room as he holds back onto P2. Kato has also gotten right back into this fight as well. He's getting past 2 cars, but he's forced Wetzley wide. Oh my god, Yua's just shot back through there. Wetzley's found a big incident there with Yua, and that's made him fall all the way back down to 6th, right in front of his teammate as well. It's going to be hard to get past.
Very unlucky
with those hard tyres. We enter the last 3 laps of the race. We've got Kata still trying to hunt for a last points playing position, but he's fighting off Pumpkin for P9 at the moment. Let's go back to the lead, and it is Enigma, but the lead has dropped down to only 7/10. Kraft is still fighting away. He still sees the victory in his sight, and he's caught up massively in the last 2 quarters too. So he's also dragging Vlad as well into this fight, and Enigma is looking incredibly vulnerable as we enter the last two laps. Kraft tries to make a move around the outside. It's another penalty for the Finn, but it looks like he's held on to P1 for now, and Yua is trying to get through both the cars holding him up now. It's Vlad, Yua still fighting for P3. Enigma holding onto that slip. He's going to try and make a move around the outside. It's a bit ill-advised. He still holds on to the slip for now, but it is Kraft leading as we enter the final lap. Oh, but Enigma's got that slip. He's going to go side by side. Kraft gives him room on turn 1. He might not give him room on turn 2. No, he has. It's a big incident there. Kraft has gone wide into 3, and Enigma is away and might be looking at a race win here in the sprint. But he's still fighting some trouble. The tyres are so worn out now. Kraft is still on his line. Vlad is getting into it too. There's 4 cars here. One of them's going to miss out on the podium. Kraft goes wide. He's going to finish 4th here. Oh, it's Enigma and Yua. just tightened. No, UR takes the win! No, UR is going to take his first CL win here. Enigma just barely pipped on the line there. I'm not too sure what was happening with that. Vlad also picks Kraft by
might be because of
100th as well. Yeah.
It might be because of Yoa's ping.
It might be. Enigma was fairly ahead on my screen, but we'll have to see what the FIA results in that. It's going to be Vlad on the podium, though, just ahead of Kraft, who finishes off the podium for the first time this season. Wow. What a tight finish we had there. It's going to be Gwetsley in P5 with the fastest lap of the race, so that's an extra point to him. Behind him in P6 is teammate Matimar, then 7th Kato, and 8th will be Kata finishing our points scorers for today. Figuera in P9, and then Pumpkin rounding the top 10. Further back, we've got Urist in 11th, Redacted, and Kissia 12th and 13th. Tight finish between those three cars. One in P14, Rusky with an unfortunate race in P15. Then it's Priya in 16th, Krunk and Hank rounding us off. Thankfully, this time around in the sprint, there were no lapped cars. I believe maybe Hank would have been lapped on that last lap, but I wasn't quite sure of that. But, yeah. What do you think about that, Kubo? Quite the intense race to the finish there.
Yep, that's the end of Kraft's win streak now. In the round where he might just cinch the driver's title. But it was like I expected, a very, very tight fight for the win. Shame for Gwetsley to drop out of that after a couple of incidents in just one lap, and he was immediately out of that top pack. And it was between Yoa and Vlad and Enigma and Kraft.
All those tight decisions in the last few corners really making an impact at the end there. And we'll have to see how we decide that, because either one of the top two is taking their first win today, actually, in CL, as far as I'm aware. Because Enigma, I believe his best result was a P2 in one of us. P2 in Moralgia, yeah. In the sprint Moralgia, he got P2, and has also finished on the podium another time this season. UR debuted last time out in Kailami and performed pretty promisingly, given the ping issues, of course. Having to drive from South Africa, of course, is quite an ordeal when you got to deal with the drivers in Europe. But I'm going to move into our feature race in just a moment's time.
34 laps. 34.
It's going to be quite the interesting start to this one as well, because some drivers will really find themselves in a bit of strife. We're going to follow Kada for lap 1 as we get our feature race, feature qualifying, underway. And Kraft just a few points away from securing that that championship title for himself. It looks like, if I'm correct, HPF also on the brink of taking that constructors as well, with a good result today. So we'll have to see if qualifying can give them a good start and maybe break away from that messy pack. That it is Kraft. No, it's going to be UR, who has provisional pole after a single lap with 27.8. Could definitely be improved on, so we'll have to really see if
he's tied. He's tied with Kraft.
Oh, he is tied with Kraft. Yeah, you're right. Both drivers will be keen to resolve that tie, though. Don't want to leave it up to chance. And Kraft does improve. Enigma into P2 with a 27.58 as well. Good result there. Kata also improves. Kata into P4. Half the grid, just about half the grid under the 28-second barrier. Class of the field at the moment, though, is Kraft, who is looking to take this pole position. And I think it will be enough. Kato improves to P3, Figueroa into P5, and more drivers have just gotten under that 28-second barrier. It is going to be Kraft and Enigma on the front row. Two drivers very much clearly in a league of their own, at least in the qualifying session today. Kato into P3 with a 27.78, then just behind him will be UR lining up alongside. Figueroa and Vlad take Figueroa in 5th, Vlad and Wetzley tied for 6th, so we'll have to see what the game decides on that. Alongside them, Matimar and Kada tied for P8 with a 27.88, just a 1/10 separating those 4 drivers on the grid. And then Nuan with a 27.92 will complete our top 10. Redacted in P11, then it's Urist and Rusky, Pumpkin, Kissia, Priya, Hank, and Krunk. So, any thoughts on this strategy for today, Kubo?
Well, there's the option of the very risky one-stopper, 17-lap hards and 17-lap hards. Will anyone just go for it and try that out? We'll have to see. But also softs are quite good to last until 9 laps. It might be a bit shorter for CL drivers, and it looks like the overcut is in fact stronger here than an undercut, so you want to stay out a bit longer, avoid the traffic, and you can gain some time that way.
Interesting to see, especially the very curvy track like this. It really depends on how much free air you get, I think, because an undercut with free air is a really big boon on this track with how many tight corners there are. But of course, that overcut can also come into play with the traffic being a big factor here. So yeah, we're really considering 1, 2, maybe even 3 stop could work if you want to go all out on the soft tyres. Going to go to the grid now, and it's going to be Gwetsley in P8 and Vlad in P6. Sorry, Gwetsley in P7. We're underway, and most of the drivers at the front have started on the softs. It's UR, the highest running hard tyre run, and Vlad has made a big dive into that turn. It's actually Kraft and Figueroa side by side. We've got a bunch of trouble in the back of the field though. I think most of the drivers got through clearly. No, Juan and Gwetsley all falling way down to the back of the field there. And it's even more trouble here. Matimar and Kato getting into a big little lag rocket. But after 1 lap...
Big little.
Yeah, just a little, you know? Just a little. But it's Kraft, Figueroa, Enigma, and Matimar holding on to our top 4 now. UR, I feel like, is in that slipstream, but I'm not too sure just yet. He's on the hard tyres, so he might be falling away from them. Kato wants to make a move past him, and does into turn 8. And Vlad gets past him as well. Oh, but they made a mistake here, and UR is back into that fight. Kato also trying a different strategy on the mediums, falls away a bit there. Oh, the Vlad and Kato just really slowing up now, making a few errors there. It's going to give some leeway to our front 4. Figueroa just slipping Kraft at the moment, and it's Enigma and Matimar behind them. Furthermore, Kato and Vlad, then it's UR in P7 are on the hards, Kato on the mediums in P8, Kassir and Urist fighting away for P9. It looks like Urist is holding on to the position now, as kind of slip Kato. It's one behind them on the softs. Priya, Gwetsley, Pumpkin, and Redacted and Rusky. Oh, big shove there from Redacted. Gwetsley getting in even more trouble here, and he just can't seem to shake Redacted off of him. Rusky finding some trouble getting past Priya as well. I think there is a disconnect there. I'm not too sure who that is. It shouldn't. Not sure who that is.
Where do you see it?
No, it's someone's driving off towards the sunset on my screen. Not sure who though.
I don't see anything like that.
No, it's UR.
That's bizarre.
UR's disconnected.
Oh.
UR's out of the race.
Poor
that
man.
Is unfortunate.
After what's potentially his first CLM.
Yeah. Real big shame that, but we're going to go back. It's Kraft starting lap 6, 8 tenths ahead of Figueroa in P2. Then Enigma and Matimar right behind them. Vlad has caught back up to those two, so he might be able to challenge for P3 for the time being. Though he does make a bit of an error there, exiting turn 5. And it's Kato and Kata. Still holding 6 and 7. Then it's a big jump, almost 3 seconds between them and the next car. Eurus just getting past Pumpkin here. It's actually a 4-second gap now, with Pumpkin really making a few errors and Eurus really wanting him to get a move on here. And behind them at the moment, Gwetsley is made a fight back and he's into the points. Just ahead of Rusky, but no, he makes an error there, and he's lost 2 positions in a single corner. Rusky into P10 and Priya into P11. Gwetsley will have to try and hold off Kassir, but no, Kassir goes through into P12. And Gwetsley's got a lot of work to do if he wants to make some points today. And a few drivers have actually gone to the pits now. We've got to go follow Kraft, who is in after 7 laps of soft tyres, onto the mediums, and he's got a good bit of a 3-8 in front of him, so the undercut might be working out for him, and Figueroa as well, who also made that stop for mediums. Further back. Oh, we've got the rest of the soft runners in though. Enigma, Vlad, Matty, Kato all coming in, and we're all seeing harder tyres from those who have made that stop. Vlad on the hards, and so is Kato, and everyone who else who stopped is on the mediums. Priya also at the far back of the field has almost made a stop. Uncharacteristic little off there from Vlad. Really just did not find his turn-in point at all, and has lost a ton of time there. And actually, it's got to let Gwetsley through Kato as well, who's also found an issue with Vlad's turn-in, as Pumpkin makes a stop, and Kato just coming out of the pits in P7. So the undercut really not working out for Vlad and Kato now, and Gwetsley's being held up a little bit by Vlad as we speak. Hank into the pits. It's going to go back to the leaders now. It's still Kraft in front, who's just gotten the lead back after everyone's pits. It's Figueroa in P2, 2.5 seconds back now, and it's looking quite dire to stop Kraft from taking another win. Enigma in P3, holding on to that position now quite nicely. It's Matimar a second behind him, and catching to Enigma. And it's Eurus, who hasn't stopped yet, in P5. Will he be looking for that 2-stop? Maybe even a 1-stop here from the Portuguese driver, as Kato gets past him, who has significantly fresher hards. Behind them, Rusky also has not pit yet, and same to Gwetsley, both on the hard tyres for 12 laps now, and they're just fighting in front of Vlad, who does have faster tyres, but he has been a bit inconsistent today, and it's a penalty to Vlad. It's going to let Rusky through, and it's going to let Gwetsley get away from the 2 of them. One following behind them in P11. Also made that stop. It's Priya and Pumpkin fighting for 12th now. Pumpkin looks to get through. He's really given a tight squeeze to Priya, and Priya's missed his brake marker and is going to fall behind Redacted as well into 14th. It's Kassir in 15th chasing them back, and it's Crunk and Hank about to be lapped by Kraft as we speak. So what do you think about the current hard tyres at the moment? Eurus in P7 here. He's really fallen away from Kato, who was just in front of him the lap before. He's lost about 2 seconds on the previous lap.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on what lap times you can do with them. I wonder if Gwetsley or Eurus are going to go for that 1-stopper. That would be very interesting. I'd imagine Gwetsley going for it after he dropped down so far. This is like his last shot at making it up into the big points positions, but no, both of them pitting now after 15 laps.
Oh, 15 laps, okay, interesting. Eurus, Gwetsley and Vlad all in. Eurus going for mediums, Vlad and Gwetsley onto the hards. Vlad has made a second stop. It feels a bit uncharacteristic. Maybe he's gotten shoved into the pits. I'm not too sure. Eurus getting through Pumpkin on that pit entry, and he's away. Priya is also fighting with Redacted to get through. Kassir and Gwetsley, it's a big pack at the back half of the very edge of the points here. There's about 7 cars in it. Eurus is hoping to get away. Priya's finding some trouble. Kassir gets a penalty. Vlad is trying to get through it all, but he's just not finding a way through on the hards as Priya makes his stop.
It was 14 laps, not 15. My apologies, 14 laps.
Yeah, 13 laps on the
So it might be a
hards.
two-stopper, 14 and 14, and then a trip onto softs for 6 laps.
Yeah,
That's always a possibility.
just have to see what happens with the drivers at the front here. Kraft could maybe make it to the end on hards if he pits soon, but he is, I think, not going to risk it. He goes in immediately now, and he's onto another set of mediums to take him closer to the end of the race. Matimar and Enigma, though, will take the lead of the race here, staying out, and as Figueroa has also made a stop, little bit of lag there from Mati, I'm not too sure how that was going on, but Enigma and Mati just ahead of Kraft, who is leading Kato and Kata along and on those fresh mediums, so we'll have to see if they can benefit from that in any way. Matimar and Enigma finding even more trouble fighting away, and they're gonna stay on the track, not heading into the pits just yet. Kraft trying to make some aggressive moves to get through these drivers, and he does exactly that, and Kato might have just lost the slip to him now, so these drivers are really a full pit stop behind now. And Figueroa is not making too much progress on them either, so while he would be ahead of them if any of them make that stop, and I believe Enigma has just made that stop off the mediums, it could be risky for some of the drivers further, staying out further. One into P7 after that lap. Urist in P8 on the mediums, Gwetzi behind him on the hards in 9th, and then Vlad in P10th. Could have been so much more, you'd have to say. Then behind them, Pumpkin's just gone onto fresh mediums and is a long way back from Vlad in P10. Rusky fighting him on the softs. It looks like he's gotten through there. Pumpkin is still trying to fight this off. He goes on the outside. It's not going to work out there for him. Priya gets a penalty there, and it looks like he might still hold on to P13. Kissia running through. It's a three-way battle between these three different teams as Redacted looks to get through. Priya and Kisser getting some real big trouble. Priya's gotten a second penalty in about 5 quarters as they're now getting traced by Crunk as well. Very back of the field. We've got Kato and Kata into the pits. Kato onto the hards. And back to that. Figueroa through to P2 on the mediums as well. Kata in P6 now on fresh mediums. Does he think the mediums might be able to take him to the rest of the race, perhaps? Kato will definitely not be stopping, and so will Matimar, who stopped, I believe, a lap earlier. So these two both hoping to take these hard tyres to the end of the race.
Yeah, I believe Matty stopped for hards on lap 20 or 21. Take them to the end.
Decision. You've got Eurus on those used mediums, Wetzley behind him. I think both drivers will still need to stop one more time. Enigma just trailing Kata here, both on relatively fresh tyres, but I'm not sure if Kata will be able to make it onto the end. He's going to have to carry these mediums for about 12, 13 laps even. Enigma has a better shot of making it to the end on those hards, but it still might be a bit of a struggle. A bit further back, and it's also flat in P9 now. And one in P10 will be hoping to also stay on those hards for the rest of the race. Rusky in P11 will need to stop again. Pumpkin will need to stop. Kissia might be able to make it to the end on those hards. Same with Redacted, I'm not too sure about him. Priya will need to stop, and so will Hank, and Crunk is just coming out on fresh hard tyres. But it is smooth sailing for Kraft now in the lead. He's got a pit stop lead. He's 7 seconds ahead of Figueroa. He is all too comfy to make one last stop and get through the field as necessary. Figueroa also will need to stop again, so he might have that. He might not have that P2 quite as secure as it looks like right now. Kato and Matima trailing him closely on those hard tyres, and it looks like the Frenchman might be on the podium once again here. But he still will get challenged by the pole behind him. We'll just have to see how that turns out around the end of the race. Further behind them as well, Kata hoping to make those mediums last as much as he can. And Priya is really struggling here. He's fallen back 8 seconds behind Redacted. He's really fallen off, even though he has made that stop onto mediums. Hank makes his last stop as we speak. A bit further back, Enigma still needing to make that stop though. He's on the hard tyres. It might be interesting to see if he pits this lap though. Kraft does pit onto the soft tyres in the lead. He's going to hold on to the lead as he comes out. Figueroa also making that stop and gives Cato P2. And Figueroa is going to come out, I believe, in P6, fighting with Gretzley in P7. But Gretzley knows he can't fight this. He still needs to make a stop. And yeah, he's going to try and hold on to that slip for another lap and maybe pit this time out. Rusky into the pits for soft tyres as Eurist holds on to P8 for the time being. Trying to make those mediums last to the end, so will Juan, but I'm on the hard, but we'll have to see how he goes. Vlad has also made a stop, and he's trying to undercut those in front of him on the soft tyres. Enigma and Gretzley in. And Gretzley is going to fall behind both Eurist and Juan, so he comes out in P9. Enigma is in P6, so 2 cars in front of him with quite a lot of time. To himself now. He's in a big, fresh, empty piece of track, so we'll see how his pace goes on. Given he also holds the fastest lap of the race with a 27.37, maybe he can make some inroads on those in front of him, but it is a long way back from Figueroa, who is pit a lap earlier and is also the softs. Entering the last 4 laps of the race now, Kraft is comfortably in front by 3 seconds. Kato is fallen away from him, but he'll be hoping to keep Kato honest as he heads towards another P2 finish. Kato still fighting Matibar. He's got to hope and pray that those mediums can hold on for the last few laps of this race. He will have better straight line speed than the Riker Auto behind him, but it's going to be a real struggle to hold on to the tyres as the laps go by. It's Figueroa chasing the 2 of them, and who knows if Kata can hold up Matibar, that'll be a big boon to Figueroa's chances of still finishing on the podium today. Enigma in P6 running his own race now. It looks like he's going to finish P6, and it's Eurist and Gretzley. Gretzley is relatively recently compared to Eurist, who still is trying to hold on to those medium tyres. Gretzley is going to try and make a move into P7. He's found no way through despite Eurist's mistake there, and Vlad is almost caught up to the back of those 2 on those soft tyres as well. It's going to be Juan holding on to P10 at the moment. He is a long way ahead of Rusky, but the gap is falling ever so slightly every lap. As Kraft starts the final lap of the race, he's lapped almost half the field, and he's looking way too comfortable now. I'm going to go further back, because it's Matibar actually getting through on Kata, and it looks like he's going to finish on the podium today. Matibar has driven solidly all race, and the alternate strategy on the 2-stop has worked out for him, but it is all lies on the Finn, who secures his CL championship. He wins the feature race in Niagara Falls. It's going to be Kato into P2. Remarkable performance from the Frenchman. Then it's Matty in P3. Figueroa fighting to the line with Kato, but he won't take P4 from the Colombian. It's going to be Enigma in P6. Then it's Vlad and Gretzley fighting for P7 here. It is tight right to the line, and I think, no, Vlad has pipped him by 100th again. After he did that to Kraft in the sprint. It's going to be Eurist taking P9 with Juan in P10, Rusky in 11th, Pumpkin finishing in 12th, Kasia and Redacted, then Priya in 14th. It's going to be Kronk and Hank finishing as well to round up our race, with UR our only retirement. Well, how do you think about that kind of Kubo? Sorry.
Yeah, there you have it. Kraft, I think, has cinched the Drivers' Championship here. Then Caddo manages a P2. Matty beats Caddo at the very end. Figueira doesn't manage to do the same. Then it's Enigma. Vlado too came out of nowhere because that was Guetzli and Urist fighting for P7, I believe. And then Vlad comes at the end and peps them both to it. And Juan gets a single point. I think it might be his first points in CL. I'm not sure though, but it's a good performance from him.
Good performance from him. Vlad making a lot of work on that undercut to get to P7. And I'd say the opposite strategy for Kato and Manuel got them the podium today with that long stint on the hard tyres. Further back, it's going to be Rusky and Pumpkin, 11th and 12th. I feel like Pumpkin and they both were in the mix of that trouble at the start. Cassia in 13th, then it's Redacted. Priya copping a ton of penalties and falling to P15. And it's going to be Krunk and Hank rounding us off with UR retiring from the race now. That should be... I'm not quite sure in the constructors, but it's definitely the drivers sealed up for Kraft. We'll have to see once the standings are updated, of course. But that is it for today's round of Challenger League. So we've only got 2 more races to go, 2 more rounds to go for this season. That'll be 4 races. And next time we're going across the American land to Canada. And we're going to be headed to the lovely city of Vancouver for Skip's fictional track. That'll be coming some next week. So join us then for the Canadian Grand Prix. And for now, that is goodbye.